I am making this video as any parent needs it to understand the IEP process and their role and what happens behind the scenes. So there are a few different areas I'm going to be going over. That's going to be the parent and student involvement in the IEP process, the referral, the evaluation, the eligibility, the components of the IEP, any expectations of communication going on, and then any ethical obligations that a teacher has when going through an IEP process. So to start off, the parent and guardian and student involvement is that they are both involved in the IEP meeting, and the parent will be notified of any IEP meetings that are going to be taking place, and they need at least a 30 days notice for that. Parents need to give the okay for any IEP to get started. They need, before anything can be done, the parent needs to be okay with anything. They need to be all right, let's go ahead and get this started. They will also be notified of any goals that these children are meeting within their IEP, or if they're struggling with things and they're struggling to meet those goals. The parents' input is very valued and needed in this process because teachers and teaching professionals are not with the child 24/7. When it comes to the referral, the parent needs to notify the school that possibly they're thinking that their child does have some kind of disability and they need to request an evaluation. And then after that, the school is going to reveal all the information given to them, and they're going to go from there. Which brings me to the next point, which is an evaluation process. So the parent has to sign all of this paperwork before even getting started, giving the okay, just like the IEP process, that an evaluation can be done. The evaluator is going to write a report about what was found and the supports that may be needed for the child based on what they had found and based on if they think that the child has some kind of disability. For this evaluation, the parent and the student must both be there and involved. There are times where a parent can't make it, but there needs to be written documentation that a teacher or the evaluator exhausted every resource that they could to get them there. And then the eligibility, after the evaluation, the teacher and the parents will come together and decide if this child really does have a disability, and they'll proceed from there on what needs to be done. This documentation needs to be put forth for multiple sources with proof that this child does have some kind of disability in different kinds of areas. And then this is when the IEP process begins to start. And then there are specific components for the IEP process. There is the development of the IEP process. There's a consideration. So what are they seeing that they're struggling with? Behaviors, some kind of social emotional skill, cognitive, stuff like that. And then there are certain requirements from teachers that need to be put forth, specifically general education teachers. And then there needs to be an agreement from the parent and the school about everything to do with the IEP process, what's going to be done, if everybody's okay with what's in the IEP process, the strategies, the supports. And then comes the IEP meeting. And then any changes that need to be made are going to come after that for reevaluation. And the communication that needs to happen is teachers should keep parents in the loop at all times through phone calls, emails, meetings, whatever works for the parent and the teacher as a whole. The parent should know the good and the bad, so they should know if something's not working for their child. They should know if they're excelling in a certain goal that they have. The teacher should also make sure to keep the school professionals notified of any importance that they need to be aware of, so they're in the loop when a reevaluation happens or any kind of meeting that needs to happen. And then the ethical responsibilities is to make sure the teacher needs to make sure that the IEP is being followed thoroughly, whether that is in their classroom, in a general education classroom, even outside of the classroom. They just need to make sure that the things in the IEP that are being put out are actually being done, so the child is the most successful in what was set out for them to do.